You open your banking app for what's supposed to be a quick check. Just 30 seconds. But somehow your paycheck already looks smaller than it should. A few subscriptions hit overnight. Your food delivery total was higher than you expected. Your car payment clears tomorrow. And suddenly you get that weird mental math panic, where your brain starts calculating how many days are left until payday. Here's the strange part. You're not reckless with money. You're not buying yachts. You're not gambling your savings away. You're doing what looks normal, what feels responsible, what almost everybody around you is also doing. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of the biggest financial scams today don't look like scams at all. They look like convenience. They look like adulthood. They look like treating yourself. And because they feel normal, they slip past your defenses completely. That's why smart people fall for them every day. And once you see these 5 traps clearly, you start noticing them everywhere. The first one is probably sitting in your pocket right now. Credit card rewards. Now, before you click away, stick with me. Credit cards themselves are not evil. Used correctly, they can absolutely help you. But the reward system works for one reason. It changes your behavior. And this is the part nobody talks about. When your brain hears cashback, points, or travel rewards, it stops focusing on spending and starts focusing on earning. Suddenly, a $120 dinner feels slightly smarter because you're getting points. A new laptop feels justified because there's a sign-up bonus attached to it. The reward becomes emotionally larger than the purchase itself. Banks know this. They're not guessing. They have decades of behavioral data showing that people spend more when purchases feel gamified. And you can actually see it happen in real life. A person paying with cash physically feels the loss. Your brain registers money leaving your hands. But tapping a card, that pain signal drops dramatically. Add rewards on top of that, and spending starts feeling productive instead of expensive. That's the scam, not the card itself, the psychological shift. If you use rewards cards, the rule is simple. Never buy something because of the reward. The moment rewards influence the purchase, the system is controlling you instead of serving you. Now let's talk about the second scam. And honestly, this one exploded over the last few years. Buy now, pay later. You've seen it everywhere. 4 easy payments, 0 interest. No big upfront cost. Just split the payment and move on with your life. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the hidden trick. These systems disconnect you from the true price of things. Your brain stops asking, "Can I afford this?" and starts asking, "Can I survive this monthly payment?" That's a completely different question. A $900 phone suddenly becomes only $37 a month. A furniture set becomes just $82 monthly. And once your brain adjusts to payment thinking, almost anything can feel affordable. Here's where it gets dangerous. You're stacking future obligations on top of your future self before that future self even gets paid. And financially, that creates invisible stress, even when you technically make enough money. Why? Because every future paycheck is already partially claimed before it arrives. That's why so many people earning decent salaries still feel broke all the time. Their money has already been pre-spent. And this is the part most people miss. Companies don't actually care whether you own the thing. They care whether you stay subscribed to payments forever. Which leads perfectly into scam number 3, subscription creep. Not because one subscription is expensive, because your brain stops noticing recurring costs incredibly fast. Psychologists call this habituation. Repeated experiences become invisible over time, which means a $9 charge here and a $14 charge there stop triggering emotional reactions. But stack enough of them together and suddenly you've created a second utility bill without realizing it. Streaming services, premium apps, delivery memberships, cloud storage, AI tools, fitness apps, music subscriptions, free trials you forgot existed. And here's where it gets interesting. Most subscription businesses are built around one assumption: you won't cancel. Not because you love the product, because cancellation requires effort, attention, decision-making. Your exhaustion becomes part of the business model. That's why the smartest thing you can do is create friction again. Once a month, force yourself to review every recurring charge manually. Not automatically, manually. Because awareness alone changes spending behavior dramatically. Now, the fourth scam is one of the most socially accepted traps in modern life: car payments. And look, this is not about shaming you for owning a car. Sometimes you genuinely need one. But the financial industry has normalized something extremely dangerous: permanent monthly payments. Think about how people shop for cars now. Most don't ask, what's the total cost? They ask, what's the monthly payment? That shift changes everything. Because stretching a loan from 4 years to 7 years can make almost any vehicle appear affordable, even if it quietly destroys your long-term wealth. Here's some simple math. Let's say your car payment is $650 a month. Pretty common now. If instead you invested $650 monthly for 30 years at historical market averages, you're looking at roughly $1.3 million. That's the opportunity cost nobody shows you in the dealership office. And no, this doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money, but it does mean every major payment deserves a second question. What future version of me am I trading away for this? That question alone can completely change your financial decisions. Now, the fifth scam is the sneakiest one of all because it doesn't come from banks or corporations. It comes from comparison, lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, finally. You feel relieved for maybe 2 weeks. Then somehow your expenses rise to match your new income almost automatically. Nicer apartment, better restaurants, more delivery, upgraded phone, better clothes, more convenience, and suddenly the raise disappears emotionally. Here's why this matters so much. Your financial stress doesn't come only from how much you earn. It comes from the gap between your income and your obligations. If obligations rise every time income rises, you never actually feel progress. That's why some people making $50,000 feel calmer than people making $120,000. One person increased freedom, the other increased lifestyle maintenance. Big difference. And this is the part nobody teaches you when you're younger. Real wealth is not visible spending. It's invisible flexibility. It's being able to handle emergencies without panic. It's having options. It's buying time back. It's sleeping better because your life isn't balanced on monthly payments and invisible stress. That's the real goal, not looking rich, feeling untrapped. Because once you stop falling for systems designed to keep you consuming constantly, something changes psychologically. You stop reacting emotionally to every paycheck. You stop needing upgrades to feel successful. You stop confusing convenience with freedom. And honestly, that's when money finally starts working for you instead of against you.